do want to go on record to say that Pat caught the biggest fish of all. I mean, this is a high mountain lake. It may not be big to, stand out in the sound or whatever. It was 26 inches. For some, and he caught this sitting in a lawn chair, fishing from the bank using power bait. So I thought, well, that's perfect, But for some reason, I don't know what happened. I just, I should have let him enjoy the glory of the fish. But I said, we got to get this fish on the fire and eat it. And so he only had like an hour to, look at this beautiful fish. Pat's a Husky fan. I'm not saying anything that you don't know. He didn't go to U of W, but it doesn't matter, does it? Anyway, what you don't know is that Pat and I would every year bet on the Husky Oregon State Beaver game because I went to Oregon State. And it was usually just for $10. And it was really pretty much a sucker bet for me because the Beavers were just, they were terrible. They were pathetic. But one year, Pat and I were over at Moses Lake, and we rented this. This was Pat's choice. We got this kind of crazy lodge room that had a pool table and a freestanding hot tub in the middle, like it was like for a love, like romantic getaway or something. And it had like deer heads on the wall. I'm not sure that would appeal to the women's, but anyway. So it was the Husky Beaver game was on TV, and if the Beavers won, they were going to go to the Rose Bowl. And time was running out. The Beavers were ahead, and I was ecstatic at the prospect when somehow in the darn last minute the Huskies scored and took the lead and won. I just couldn't believe it. I was totally deflated. But Pat, instead of gloating, said, "Tom, I'm sorry that the Huskies won because I know really how much it's meant to you." And we talked about this years later. He goes, I wouldn't have felt bad if the Huskies had lost because, because the Huskies always get to go to the Rose Bowl. They're always winning everything. One thing we both kind of agreed on, we didn't really like the Oregon, so I don't know if anybody from Oregon just didn't really like the Ducks, but we won't go into that. One year we went hiking to Idaho, and I just had my wisdom teeth pulled out, and we were going off trail, straight uphill. Finally, when we reached the timberline in the campsite, I was so spent I literally just collapsed. And Pat took care of setting up the tent, cooked the meal, made sure I was okay, kept checking on me. Are you going to live? And I go, I hope so. Next day we continued on, got to this untrailed lake in Idaho. And this is, we spent a whole week just sitting at this one lake. All we did was fish, read, eat, build fires, and talk. And we used to talk about that. Bead Lake was the name of the lake. This is something I don't even know whether I should bring up, but I will. Pat enjoyed a good bubble bath. Anybody agree with that?
Okay. That's like you.
Okay, hey, guys have to have a bubble bath. So anyway, in Idaho there are a lot of hot springs. We made every effort to visit them and soak in them. We had our favorites. The early days, there really weren't that many people in them, but kind of later on, more people were discovering them. So we were kind of always having to look for, more remote hot springs. Well, we found this one, which we probably shouldn't have found, actually, because we got up there and Pat was we were soaking in some water. It had some kind of algae in it. And after he got back, I didn't go in that one, but after he got back, he had like this massive rash under his arms. And this darn thing lasted for like a year. He went to the doctor and everything. So kind of after that, we were more discriminating. And another thing, this is maybe a little weird we were like in our 20s, and so what would guys do on New Year's Eve? Normally you'd be looking for a party or something, right, Jim? Yeah. Doug Brown, you'd be looking for a party on New Year's Eve, wouldn't you? What's that now? Oh. But anyway, for some reason, what we like to do, we'd go up to Kennedy Hot Springs off of the White Chuck River, and we'd hike up on New Year's Eve, and we'd just sit up there and soak in. It was like a little 5-foot square tub. Water was like 95 degrees, kind of yellow from the sulfur and everything. But we'd just hang out there, and then we'd hike back. It was like 5 miles in, and we'd hike back maybe around midnight or something. But it was, at that time, 5 miles, we'd do it in an hour, so it was no big deal.
Was it Kennedy Hot Springs?
Kennedy Hot Springs, which